Well, I got my Air here I go again, A5 Air Razor scooter. I took it for a ride the other day and I decided I really like it, and I'm going to go ahead and say that right off the bat. I have a good first impressions of it. I took it like 2 miles. I was hitting all the cracks. I was going in the roads. So yeah, here's my first impressions. I haven't taken it out in the wet yet, so I can't talk about that. But I can talk about cracks in the sidewalk and hills in the sidewalk and how that affects the scooter. The cracks are like nothing at all, like easy. The hills in the sidewalk are a different issue. But I feel like it's something that can be tackled. I feel like you can fix that. You can work on it. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is the hills, every time you come across a little bump in the sidewalk, it goes up and back down. A little hump in the sidewalk, whatever you want to call it. They bottom out the scooter. The deck is a little low, which is good for efficiency. You don't have to bend down as far to push. But yeah, it does bottom out pretty easily. So I gotta learn how to do little wheelies over those bumps, because if you kind of push and then pull up on the front wheel, you can kind of wheelie it up over the bumps. And I heard that works real well. I saw it in a video of someone doing that. Like, works perfect. So just gonna be a little mindful of those hills. I haven't had a crack stop the front tire once. Like, I was purposely going over some pretty good cracks there. Not like 5-inch deep cracks or anything like that, but I was hitting the cracks. Like, I was at one point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to try to find a crack that'll stop this thing. Like, that's how good it was. I ain't even worried about the cracks in the sidewalk. I'm not even joking. I'm going to purposely hit some cracks. Like this one, nothing. And this one, nothing. It's like riding over it on a bicycle. I'm purposely hitting the crack. Oh, I bottomed out. Okay. And then I went out in the road, which is like a rough road, and I didn't even really feel it. So vibrations are like nothing, in a good way. Yeah. Just in case you didn't understand what I was saying there. Brakes. I ain't impressed with the brakes. I got to say, that's the one downside so far. The brakes. I can deal with the bottoming out, but the brakes, I don't know. I had to push them. I had to push them to get slowing down. I felt like they weren't as sensitive as the scooters with the hard wheels, and I'm concerned how's it gonna be in the rain? I don't know yet. So I'm gonna save those judgments until it happens, and I'm gonna be real careful too when it happens. And I'm just gonna kind of throw out there that I think if you're gonna be going downhill in the rain, forget it. Just don't. Unless for some reason the brakes work better when they're wet. I can't imagine that, but my bicycles do a weird thing where they kind of work better when they're wet. The brakes work better. I don't know. We'll see. Not sure why that is, by the way. If anyone knows, then feel free to leave a comment. But yeah, vibrations, nothing, like easy. Just, I think the biggest worry is bottoming out, and that's about it. I mean, when I was riding it, I remember one of the things I said was, I feel like I'm riding on a luxury scooter. Okay, does that kind of say something? Like, I'm used to scooters, adult scooters, kids scooters, whatever, being the most bumpy, vibrating things in the world. And you feel it in your handlebars and on your hands and your feet and everything. You feel every bump and every crack, and you can hear it. It's real loud. It's rattling all over, and everyone can hear you from a mile away. The people on the sidewalk, they turn around when you're way back there because they can hear you coming up from a mile away. Like, none of that's an issue on this one. I was actually riding past some people in a rough road, and they didn't hear me coming up. And the road was real easy. It felt like the sidewalk. Like, it was nothing. You can ride in the road. You can ride in the sidewalk. You can ride in the grass. You can ride in the dirt. It's nothing. The only thing you gotta watch out is bottoming out. I feel like that's something you can work on, though. I feel like with a little bit of technique and mindfulness, you can kind of overcome it. You can learn the power of the wheelie and avoid the bottoming outs. Avoid scraping the bottom of your brand new kick scooter, even though mine wasn't brand new. and I saw it was already scraped. So I'm apparently not the only one who had that experience because I bought mine used. So it did have some scrapes on it. Otherwise, it's like mint condition, man. It's like, it's good. And I got it for like half the price, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, what else constructive can I say right now? I mean, this is a first impressions video, so I can't come to too many conclusions, but this is what I'm feeling so far, and you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt because you never know what's gonna change eventually as you come across different scenarios, and maybe your tires deflate one day and you forgot to pump them up. Like, so I don't have any experience on talking about any of that stuff, but I did pump up, speaking of that, I did pump up my tires up to 60 PSI, which is the recommended thing. Oh, the valves. I didn't really have a problem with the valves, getting the air pump onto them. I do see what people are talking about, though. I did have to use my finger to bend the valves down so I could get the air pump on. So I had to use one hand to bend it down and my other hand to get the air pump on. Or some combination of both hands, whatever I did. But it was definitely not that hard. I was like, oh, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. For some reason, I had more trouble on the front tire than I did the back tire, but it's not even a big deal. It's just like, once you learn how to bend them, it's no big deal. And the most important thing about that, it didn't feel like it was hurting the valve. Like, it didn't feel like I was ripping it off or anything. So that's good. Otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, not doing that. Yeah, none of that happens. So that's good. So yeah, overall, I really, 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 really like it. I don't know if that message came across in this video, but I love the thing. Just a few days ago, or whenever my last video was, I was riding a little kid's scooter with the hard wheels, tiny wheels, made for kids. I'm like 10 pounds over the weight limit of it and all that stuff. But yeah, that scooter felt dangerous to me. I mean, I hit a few cracks and I would have easily flew over the handlebars if I wasn't paying attention. And so what I'm trying to say here is with that little scooter, my brain was so focused on safety and I was so focused on the sidewalk and making sure I don't hit anything. And my point here is that with the A5 Air, I'm not feeling any of that. In fact, I caught myself not paying attention to the sidewalk. I was like just going. The only thing I was watching out for was like where the sidewalk drops off the road. And you got to make sure you kind of go off the slope. I was paying attention for that. But otherwise, any terrain, I was like, nothing. Unless it was like something big, like something you don't even want to hit on a bicycle, then, I would avoid that. But otherwise, I was challenging the thing. I'm like, I'm going to hit every crack. Yeah, I'm impressed. It went over everything. Did I say that? Did I already talk about that? I don't know if I did. I already made this video once and I was rambling too much. So I was like, I'm just going to redo it. And it looks like I'm doing it again. So, yeah, I'm going to stop here. Now I'll give it some time. Maybe I'll revisit my feelings about this scooter later down the road when I've had more experience with it and everything. I am super curious how it is in wet weather, when the wheels are wet and everything, and the ground is wet. Super curious because that was a showstopper on the other scooter I had, which was a hard-wheeled scooter. It was generic, but it was supposed to be copying like the A5 Lux sort of thing. But the brakes did not do a single thing almost on that scooter in the wet. So I'm wondering how this one will be because this has rubber tires. But I'm hoping maybe the rubber will grip a little bit better in the wet compared to the hard tire. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. So we will see. Maybe I'll make a video about that when that happens. I think that's all I got to say for now. I'm gonna write it some more, see what I feel. My overall impression is like real good though. Can I go over some of these bumps? Heck yeah. Like nothing. With my pinky. This one. Okay, yeah, that's heavy. That's definitely heavier.